Hello everybody, welcome back to VGCommz Judgment Episode 2. Here we get to go into the real meat of the game. Anyways, that's just a teaser for some of the upgrades that you can get. I'm pretty sure in a later part I show off more of those screens. Also, hello Crispin Freeman, good to hear your sultry voice.
Well, Genda-sensei's got a pretty big sweet tooth.
So for this part we're going to have to get some sweets for the office that we're going to, our former law office. Since, we still have to get work, gotta pay them bills, and unfortunately, being a detective doesn't always pay the bills in the best of ways. Nevertheless, we finally get at least some control over Kamurocho. Not, we still have to go through a very, very convoluted pathway, so still not full control over the open world. Could have sworn that happened here, but I suppose that'll be happening at a later moment. But yeah, this is something I actually forgot to talk about. The first person you can go into first person for this game, just walk around town in first person. And this look how great look how amazing everything looks. Look at this. Look at this. How can a game look this good? This doesn't make sense. Like 15 years ago I'd call you crazy. Just like, this is a video game, man. There are so many times where I'm playing this game where I would literally just go into first person and just walk around town. It's just amazing. I love it. It just blows my mind. Also, here's the, at least one of the local corner stores. There's quite a few of these around, these convenience stores. Same chain. Gotta plug them. Pretty sure this is based on a real one. If not the actual real one, because they do use real licensed stuff. Like, you can get a Jack Daniels whiskey in this game, believe it or not. And this game also features the famous shop Don Quixote.
You just bought some of them dorayaki, yeah?
Also looks like we're going to have to deal with some thugs. Because you can't go full pardon Yakuza without punching somebody in the face.
I've been after one of those things for days now, and you just bought the last fucking box.
Oh well, boo-hoo, cry me a river.
Wow. Can't argue with that logic.
What was that, smartass?
Also, too, we get to hear the difference between Yagumi's Japanese and English voice actor. And yes, I already well know do the wall strike. Also, that's a move you can exclusively do with the Tiger style, where you get to just pretty much do an OP punch at them, like this, 1-inch punch, which can knock out almost any regular foe in one hit if the timing is done well enough. Also, here's some heat actions, essentially special moves. Bumbaclot! Oh, how I love the combat in this game. Yeehaw! Gotta love how they go ragdoll once they're knocked out. It's also interesting to see how well ragdoll physics have progressed throughout the years, because when they were first introduced, the physics of them would just kind of go all over the place with their limbs and their bodies, just bouncing all over the place, hither and there. Whereas nowadays, when people go ragdoll in video games, it looks more realistic. Also, this character Hamura. Some controversy about him. Not so much the character, but the voice actor, because the original Japanese voice actor, I should say, was called cocaine and thus was unpersoned completely, which I think is kind of bullshit. Like, there's nothing I'm not the biggest fan of Japan is how conservatively they view drugs. Like, if someone wants to do drugs, let them do drugs. I don't see why it's such a big deal, really. Like, if they're not hurting anyone but themselves, then who the fuck cares? Who cares? I don't. Just let them do what they want. I mean, being anybody in the entertainment industry can be stressful enough. So what if this is what they need to do to take off the edge, and as long as it doesn't form any bad addictive habits, then I don't see the problem. There are people that can do drugs without it becoming addictive to them. Yes, I know there are a lot of people that do become addicted, but there are also a lot of people that don't. And with these sort of drug laws that we have, people have to go to the black market to get them, and thus a lot of the times they get laced with stuff, and that's what causes them to overdose. It happened with Janis Joplin, It happened with... what's his name? Fucking... God damn it. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Those are at least two people who knew the dosage of the drugs they would take. They took the normal dosage, and because the drug was laced with bullshit from the dealer, they overdosed.
Totally.
Get this, though.
Nevertheless, on to happier topics. The Yakuza! This guy seems like just a good old pal, doing us a good old solid favor. Falcon! Oh, did I already miss the punch while I was monologuing about my political stance? Whoopsie doodle.
His ass tuck.
Not yet, no.
Oh, what the hell's taking him so long?
Here.
Oh,
This is the money.
and there's his cut. You see, this is the guy that hired us in the first place to do all that stalking and running and punching.
Finally getting the hang of this whole debt collecting thing.
In fact, that could also be an alternate title for this game. Stalking, running, punching.
Anyway,
Man.
where's Kaito?
Fine.
You mind asking him something? How long is he gonna stick around?
Also, can't get over how good the facial animations are. And this is something you really can only do with a game like this where you know exactly what the characters are going to say at any given point. Like, I don't think you could get something like this out of like a BioWare game because of the nature of the dialogue engine.
Damn business sites.
Like, something like this has to be just 100% pre-rendered. And what's really interesting is the fact that Ryuga Gotoku is not like that big of a studio in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm sure that they're like bigger now than they were like 10 years ago, but like compared to some of the real quote unquote AAA studios, they're not really the biggest around, and they never really have the biggest budgets. And yet they're able to make something this good, present something that looks this absolutely look at all this eye candy here. Like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, I love it. Anyways, this game does have a system where when you eat, you heal, but it also gives you XP, I believe? Or is that just Yakuza Kiwami 2 and 6? Oh, nope, it gives you XP, just a tiny amount. There we go. Although I will say, eating in like Yakuza Kiwami 2 and 6 is basically required in order to, get any sort of like keep your XP going. Excuse me, sorry, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, pardon, excuse me, sorry, pardon me, coming through, pardon me, pardon me while I run through tables. Also, if you want to know what that red little dash at the bottom of the screen was, that was the game telling me, hey, there are people following you. So, if you want to get into a fight, there we are, but if not, you better run. You just be thinking, I was being all cocky getting away from them, but... oh, I actually did get away from them. Yay! Could have sworn I didn't. I must have remembered this part incorrectly. Back at the Gendala offices, where the first part of the first episode started.
Sorry, son. Look, dorayaki. Extra fancy. Genda Law Office, where I used to work.
Ah, more
Things
monologuing.
haven't changed much these past 3 years.
Because noir. Neo-noir, but noir is noir.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Also, I think I mentioned this last time, can't remember if it was in the first take or the second take, but this game honestly feels more noir than LA Noir at times. If nothing else, then the fact that more of this game takes place at night than LA Noir does, which is just kind of strange, really.
How'd you end up in this dump and not in a bigger office, huh?
Huh? Well, you see, that's...
Oh, you're such an awkward rookie.
Evening, Genda-sensei.
That, I think, will keep you.
Dad, there's two people I look up to like a father. Genda-sensei's one of those people.
Yeah, Yagami essentially has like two different father figures he looks up to, which is really interesting.
Shintani-sensei out for the night?
I can't keep track of that boy. I'm
I'm sorry, I was distracted by that
Deal with him.
figure on top of the shelf there.
Can't stand each other.
Kind of caught me off guard.
Hate each other's guts. Be honest with me here.
Hold on.
Look at that thing.
Shintani's like a mentor.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it starts with a D. Ugh.
If you really want
I should know this.
you're gonna have to get along. So show your senpai a little more respect.
Oh, Genda-sensei. I got you some dorayaki. Just sit
And wait for it. Wait for it. Womp womp.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, you and your sweet tooth.
Eat them all?
Also, she ate those incredibly quickly.
All but half. Hope you don't mind.
By that logic, she should be the protagonist, you know? Because, you know, shonen protagonist and all that. I'm funny! Alright, time to progress the plot.
What are the chances?
Also, I can't get over the fact that Yagami has a chain wallet. Like, I'm sure because they're in the crime-ridden Kamurocho district of Tokyo, Japan, that might be a requirement, but just, it feels so early 2000s. It feels so early 2000s. I literally cannot recall the last time I actually saw somebody with a chain wallet. Like, the last time I had one, I was like 13?
Me. I was never too hungry.
14 maybe?
Anyway,
Ah, man, now I feel old.
yeah?
Lawyer again.
Stop making me feel old, world!
Take a good look at me, Genda-sensei.
Just look at me. Ain't I a sight to see?
I made that clear 3 years ago. What use am I as a lawyer if I can't tell good from bad?
Knock it off.
Oh, you and your doubt.
Stop beating
Surely this won't come up as a plot point later on to have some sort of redemption arc? No! What are you talking about? That would be absolutely insane.
Whose fault it is. I never want to deal with something like that again.
It's a flashback to the previous episode where the guy we got off for murder apparently murdered again. But once again, I think we all know where this plotline is going.
Stay busy, you know?
Thankfully, a more interesting one is going to be introduced to us very soon.
Doesn't matter what you've got, just give me something.
How about a divorce case? I have some evidence that needs collecting.
Ah, a divorce case, a good old classic one.
Love hotel, snap some photos, tail the guy, dig through some trash. You in?
I'm in. Job's a job.
Yep, Yagami is so desperate for work, he'll literally take anything at this point.
I'll send you the details later. And next time, don't bring a gift, you hear? Doesn't feel right taking them from guys too broke to pay for.
Anything you say.
Yay, more XP. Yeah, one thing I've noticed throughout this playing through this game is the fact that the XP you get from just doing main missions is kind of minuscule compared to the ones you'll be getting for doing like all the side activities. So I think that's a good way of the game, you know, encouraging you to do that, because if they give you a lot just for doing main quests, you might think, you know, I could do the side stuff, but I don't know. But, you know, on top of the side stuff being just really fun, it gives you a tangible reward.
This blows that
Like, it's not like you get, like, barely anything for doing these main quests,
years since we had a murder.
plotline stuff, but they make it to where it's enough to get by on, but not enough to, you know, really get some great unlocks for skills and perks and all that. And I think it's important that games do that. You know, if they really want you to do... Hold on one second. Whee! No fall damage. Carried over in Yakuza 6. Yay. Take that, physics! Oh, here we go. Got ourselves into another fight. Hold on. Wait for it. I gotta hit it. Oh, I'm switching over to crane style. All right. You think... You thought you could beat me with a bat. Also, this crane style is almost a little reminiscent of Majima's breakdancing style. And if you've never played Yakuza 0, yes, you have to play as a character who fights using breakdancing moves. And yes, it is as amazing as you think it is. Maybe I'll do Yakuza 0 sometime in the future, but then again, Ooh, that prologue goes on for an age. What was it talking about? Oh yeah, side stuff. But yeah, I think it's important that games try to, you know, if they really want you to do their side activities and not just sort of have them there for the sake of them being there, they incentivize you to do so. And by the way, it will not be long until I start cutting out just running around the city, because at this point, I just want to showcase the scale of it, because, like I said, it's not that big. You can go from one end to the other in like 2 minutes. Which, you know, if you're just doing that over and over again, that might seem a bit excessive, but, like, think about the size of, like, okay, I'm not going to use GTA, like a Fallout map, like playing Fallout 4. How long would it take you to get from one end of the map to the furthest end? It'd probably take you at least a good 20 minutes, at least. And I know this because I was recently playing Fallout 4. At one point, you're going through the glowing sea, and there was a point where I just was having no random encounters, and it took me like a solid, like 5 minutes before I came across anything. And I was still like a good 3 minutes away from reaching my destination. It was just like, oh, this place is too big. This area is too large. Anyways, let's go have a chat with our buddy. Our good old sensei, the man who taught us everything we know about being a lawyer.
And I'm getting a drink.
And I'm paying?
Let's call it a business.
And you know he's cool because he wears the sunglasses indoors.
Here's a familiar face. Kyohei Hama.
Ah, good old Hammer. We just saw him a few moments ago and he's already got himself arrested.
Ran into him earlier, actually.
Oof.
He's your client?
That's no good.
Yep.
Gonna have to, yeah, try to get him off of the hook for that. That is, as long as he is innocent. Because, you know, as underhanded as Yagami might be, if somebody is guilty, he will not try to set them free. You know, try to atone for his previous mistake there. You see? You see? We have to have character traits. You have one event influencing another. That's great. It's fantastic. That is storytelling!
Anyway, you're coming with me to the station. Need to have a word with Hamura. You got way more Yakuza experience than me, after all.
Yeah, I suppose I do.
In a manner of speaking, yes he does, as we will find out in later episodes.
The victim was a Yakuza. A Kansai guy. Part of the Kyorei clan. They found his body tossed in a dumpster.
Also, one thing to note is the fact that they never actually show you the actual, you know, people with their eyes cut out. Their eyes are always obscured by something. You know, either an object or just by the camera angle. And I think that's really, really nice. Because they could have easily just really milked that gore for all it's worth. But they decided not to because they're like, nah, that's excessive. That would be excessive. And we here at Real Gotoko Studios, we are classy motherfuckers.
They're connected?
No. Makes sense. 3 bodies and not a single suspect isn't exactly giving the cops credibility. Guess they just want to get this case closed and move on. Even if they have to force it through. And hey, the victim was Yakuza. Nobody really cares who hangs for
Oh yes, the police force wanted to arrest anybody and everybody that think could be an easy get to. I think that sentence made sense. If not, then oh well, we're moving on. We have to talk about a new mechanic, and that is the conversation one, where you have to pick the exact right questions to choose. Once again, that sentence makes sense, right? Yes? Okay, cool. And by choosing all the correct ones, we get a tiny bonus. And I do mean a really tiny bonus. Even if you're playing a completely fresh new game, this bonus is almost not even worth it.
Hamura fits the bill.
And the other reason?
Which, once again, goes to the, you know, lack of incentivization. You know, you have to incentivize people in order to do something in the video games and just give them a tiny reward. Once you see how low it is, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Has Hamura said anything to you?
See, plus 10.
Yeah.
10.
He told me he didn't do it.
10!
Claimed the
Trust me, once you see the upgrade screen, you'll see just how low 10 is for getting any sort of upgrade. Especially now that I've gotten almost all of them. It's basically useless to me.
You go on ahead. I got some calls to make first. Just take a
It'll do.
Ah, yes, taking a taxi cab to get to our location, next location. It's when you know that's actually in other games how you also get to different areas. Like I was talking about in the previous part, like Sotenbori and Olumichi. Like that's how you get to those different locations by taxi cabs. Just a shame that this game doesn't have one of those. It's just all in Kamurocho, and there is technically one other area you go to, but you're only there for story reasons. There's absolutely no side content there.
One drink in.
What can I say? I'm a busy man.
Funny you should say that. Another customer of mine.
Ah, a teaser for future side cases. Something we'll be doing in future parts.
Pass up a paying gig.
But first, we have to worry about good old Hamura trying to get him off the hook. And we'll be worrying about that in the next episode. Join me then. Bye-bye.